Hey everybody, Mark Bouchard here with Police Mentors. Today I want to talk about the basic police firearms test. I believe we could do a better job of teaching people. I've got a lot of experience. I spent 10 years on an emergency response or SWAT team, and I've done a lot of firearms training, seen a lot of same common errors, and I'm going to tell you the top 5 that I think will help you. So the first one is just confidence. We used to have our firearms qual, and the same person would show up every year with this, "Oh, I'm going to fail. I always fail." And guess what he did? He failed. He thought he was going to fail, and sure enough, he was right. You got to challenge your own self-talk. We all have our own doubts. We can all be hard on ourselves. I can be really hard on myself. But you need to just focus on what you can control. And when you have those negative thoughts, you need to just challenge them and replace them. And just instead replace them with, "I can do this. I've done this before. I can do this." And remind yourself of all the times you do it right instead of focusing on times you do it wrong. The second thing is going to be focus on your fundamental. Being a good shooter, it's hard, but it's not that complicated. Honestly, it just focus on good shooting fundamentals, and that will help you to be a good shooter. Of those fundamentals, the top things I see go wrong for basic pistol shooting of a patrol level type qual or basic qual for a department is sight alignment and trigger control. It's that we basically panic, we hammer the trigger, and then who knows where the round goes, it just randomly goes wherever it wants, instead of just staying calm and just continually squeezing the trigger slowly. Point number 3, the way to think about it that will really help you with this is think sight video instead of sight picture. What happens is people think, "I have a perfect sight picture. I better squeeze the trigger as hard as humanly possible immediately." And then they knock their gun out of alignment, their sights out of alignment, and the round doesn't go where they wanted it to. So the next thing on that is to think sight video instead of sight picture. What a lot of people do is they think, "My sights are lined up perfectly. That's what I need." And then they go just hammer the trigger, and then their round just goes wherever it wants. Ultimately, it doesn't go where it's supposed to go. And instead, if you think, especially with pistol shooting, I never have a perfect sight picture. Everything is moving and it's always just good enough. Okay, that's pretty good. Okay, there. Yeah, okay, I can keep squeezing. Yeah, that'll make a big difference. I've seen when people make that change and instead they focus on a slow, consistent, steady trigger pull, it dramatically changes their shooting. Well, normally when people get that difference, the next round they shoot goes like dead center because that fixes the main issue that's been causing them problems. Point number 4, the next thing I'd recommend is get someone to video you. It actually is really helpful a lot of times, and not even videoing the target, videoing yourself and how you're actually shooting. I've helped a lot of people with that where they were struggling with their firearms or getting ready to go on a big test or whatnot. And when you actually film and you show them what's happening, like for example, sometimes they're anticipating recoil, so the gun drops and they don't even know they're doing it. Or again, they think, "Okay, my sights are perfect," and then they just hammer the trigger and you can see it. Versus then I take a shot and I show them a slow, consistent trigger pull, and you get to see the difference of what that actually looks like. That often makes a huge difference. Okay, and then point number 5 is just to be efficient in your movements, right? There's certain things you need a range to work on to actually shoot rounds, but there's some things you can practice even when you're not at the range. Now, obviously, do this in a safe way. Like I know people who've practiced their draw and had a negligent discharge. So I'm not telling you to just go do anything unsafe. But one thing I did is I practiced my draw a lot. When I first started on our team, we had a pretty hard firearms qualification and you had to have a very fast draw. And that's where you could make up some of the time. And I actually couldn't pass the firearms qual at first. So I started just practicing my draw every day. And within a bunch of months, I got so much better because you just become more efficient in the movement and you start breaking down. And then you have more time to shoot because you're faster to get your gun out of your holster. So that's something that you can practice. And maybe we'll make another video about how to break down a draw and how to get better at your draw. Leave a comment. Tell me if this video is helpful for you and tell me what else you'd want to know about. What else would you want a video about that could help you? And lastly, please subscribe. All right. Good luck with your test. Thanks for watching the video. Hey everybody, it's Mark Bouchard back with Police Mentors. I made a video today that's going to be about